Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. We found a python with a doe and 2 fawns in her at the same time.
Jeez.
I know. I can't imagine how that went down.
Oh, my God. Hey guys, welcome back to the HuntFishTravel Podcast. As always, I am your hostess, Carrie Z. All right, so picture this, because I've been picturing it all day. And obviously from Wisconsin, it's been weirding me out all day. So like it's the middle of the night, you're in the Florida Everglades, and the air is heavy. And I've only been to Florida like 3 times, and the air is really heavy. It doesn't matter when I go there. It's so heavy, right? And somewhere in the darkness, there's this 15-foot, it's probably like 30-foot Burmese python on the move. My guest today, Amy Siewe, doesn't just imagine that scene. Dude, she like lives it. She's a professional python hunter. Who is a professional python hunter? This awesome chick is. She literally is living this crazy dream, right? She's a professional python hunter working to protect Florida's native wildlife from one of the most destructive invasive species in North America. We're diving into what it takes to find, capture, and remove these giants, and why this unique kind of hunt is so critical to conservation. So, Amy, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
I'm not even going to lie. Literally, I'm like imagining Anaconda, like the movie. No lie. Because like we have them as pets up here, okay?
Right.
And you go to your website and you're like, you have these like massive snakes. And I'm just like, holy cow. Like, I'm not afraid of snakes at all. But I'm like, all right, that would give me a little bit of pause. I ain't going to lie. So yeah, welcome to the show. Why don't you introduce yourself to the listeners and just kind of give them a real high level overview, because we're gonna do a deep dive here in a minute.
Sure, yeah. I am a professional python hunter and guide. So, as you mentioned, the pythons are invasive here in Florida. They're not supposed to be here, and they're doing mass destruction to our ecosystem. So we have to get them out of our Everglades. And so that's what I do. So I go out at night. Sometimes I'm by myself. Sometimes I'm with somebody else. Sometimes I have my clients with me that I take out. And we are driving up and down the roads on the back of my truck, on my snake deck, looking for the pythons.
Dude. That's bananas. How on earth did you even end up becoming a professional python hunter?
I know people look at me and they're like, no, you don't hunt pythons. There's no way. And I'm like, no, I do. I really do. But so when I was little, my dad took me to a creek and taught me how to catch all kinds of like cool critters. And I just had this fascination with snakes.
Really?
I don't know why. I mean, really, like snakes of all things. But that's what it was. So it's been more of a hobby my whole life. Like I've done the exotic pet store and vet thing in college. I was a breeder, all that stuff. And, but like I said, after that, it's always been just a hobby. And then I learned that there were pythons in Florida. And I thought, oh, wait a minute. Instead of just catching like a 6-foot black rat snake in Indiana, I could catch a 20-foot python. I'm in.
Oh my, that's crazy.
I came down on vacation, caught a 9-foot python. I was hooked. And I was like, yep, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I was a real estate broker for 13 years prior to this. So in less than 2 months, I sold my business, packed some stuff, rented a room from a guy that I found online in Miami. Still can't believe I did that.
Right.
And moved down to figure out how to become a python hunter.
Like, so you just, on your own, like, for real, like, that's crazy. Yep. That's the craziest story I think.
I know.
And I hear a lot of crazy stories. That's bananas. I just keep saying that's bananas. And because, like, really, that's bananas. Like, who just decides I'm from the upper Midwest? I'm just going to go, like, chase and hunt down random snakes, massive snakes. That's so cool.
That would be me.
That's so interesting.
Well, thank you.
It is very interesting and good for you.
It's something.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and it started off as, a thrill type thing, right? Because, I love catching snakes and I've done it my whole life. And of course we don't kill the snakes. We just, would, observe them, take pictures and let them go. And so like you always want to catch a big one, right? And the biggest one is like a 6-foot black rat snake in the Midwest.
Yeah, right.
And so the opportunity to catch a huge python in the wild was just beyond anything that I've ever done. And that's what the initial draw was. But then once I was here, I realized what devastation they're doing to the Everglades. And it's really kind of heartbreaking. And for me, I've only been here for 6 years, but I've seen a major decline in just the animals around my house even. So it's a pretty big problem we have.
Well, okay, so let's talk about Burmese pythons. So growing up, I had a ball python as a pet, and they're very, very different. They're very much smaller. Obviously, pythons, they're native to Asia, if I'm not an idiot and saying this correctly, right?
Nope, you're right. You're right. Yep.
So Florida, you think of gators, okay, right? But not Burmese pythons. How did these snakes even become such a big issue in the Florida's ecosystem?
Right. Well, what happened was, first of all, the pythons were very popular pets, the Burmese in particular, because they have a naturally docile disposition and in comparison to some of the other big constrictors. What actually happened was in 92, Hurricane Andrew came through and destroyed a breeding facility in Miami. And they were breeding, everything was legal. They were breeding for the pet industry. And it sent about 900 pythons to the same general vicinity of the Everglades. And that is the epicenter of this problem.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. So, gosh, okay. So, literally.
Well, and now it's crazy because there's an estimated 500,000 of them out there.
Holy cow, that many.
So, yeah.
That's a ton.
And they have, well, and the problem is they are the apex predator. So they don't have any predators. The only time there's, any predation is when like they're small, because they come out of the egg at 2 feet, which is, the size of a lot of our native snakes. So anything that'll eat our native snakes, like the owls, the hawks, gators sometimes, pigs, wild pigs, they will eat the pythons when they're hatchlings, but they don't stay small for very long.
Right.
Right. So, and that's the problem.
Man.
So, so they're at the top of the food chain, no predators, voracious appetite. It takes a python 10 years to get to be, it takes a python 3 years to get to be 10 feet, and it takes 200 animals to get it there.
Oh, wow. So it's just
and they live
eating and eating
years.
and eating.
It's insane.
And they just have like an abundant, the habitat down there. You've got the marshes and stuff and the wetlands down there. You've just got so many critters providing snacky snacks for them constantly.
It's the perfect, it's a perfect environment for them. And the issue, one of the issues is that 97% of the area that they're in is inaccessible to us. There's so much sawgrass and there's, so much everything out there that you just can't get there. The other issue too is that they are so camouflage. I caught a 17-footer, right? I saw her periscoping on the side of the highway, like a 2-lane highway, right? So she's kind of standing up like 3 feet. So I see her white belly. I pull the truck over. It takes me like 15 seconds, to pull it over, jump out of the truck. I go over to her. She's gone down. Now she's 17 feet. I know where she is. And I still couldn't find her for like 2 minutes. And finally I saw like a little tiny bit of her pattern through the grass and followed it up to her head. And I was like, oh my God.
Holy cow.
So they're so good. This environment is so perfect for them to be so successful.
That's nuts. How big can they get? Like, I know in Asia.
Well, the record is 19 feet.
Okay. Because I know in Asia, they can get like 20, 25 feet over there. But.
So that's a different type of python.
Okay.
So that's a reticulated python.
Okay.
So they get to be bigger. Yeah.
Okay.
And those guys are super mean. And those are people eaters. So have you heard about like the grandma that got eaten by the python in Asia? That's not fake news. That's for real.
Oh my God.
So thankfully our pythons don't want to eat us.
Thank God. Could you imagine? Oh God. What a nightmare that would be.
No, man. I can't. But the thing is, they easily could eat us. Like,
right?
Easily. I mean, I would be a snake snack. Like, no problem. If they decided that they're like, hey, I think I'm going to try a person tonight.
Seriously,
I'd be done.
Everybody's so worried about like wolves. Well, from the upper Midwest, wolves this, coyotes that, blah, 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 blah. Could you imagine being down there and we're from Wisconsin? I'm like, oh my God, there's a gator. I hope it doesn't eat me. And then there's like, wow, here's a snake that could just wrap itself up. And then oh my gosh, that's crazy. And they got away a ton. They
do. I mean, like we caught one in November of last year. I think it was 200 pounds. Like, that's a big snake.
Holy cow. That's
a big snake.
And are they, I don't know. And I guess I don't know that much, forgive me, about the Everglades and stuff and how, like beavers can be really disruptive to the natural flow of, say, a creek, right? Because of the way they build the dams and everything like that.
Sure.
With snakes and their constant movement and stuff like that, do they disrupt a lot of the landscape or no? Or not really? Because I just...
No, they don't really disrupt it. They just eat everything, right? So 98% of our mammals are gone in parts of the Everglades.
Holy cow.
Because the pythons have eaten them. Like a lot. And I know that seems like an insane number, but it's for real.
Well, and then you have the scales are so tipped. It's just, and then everything's out of balance and everything's out of whack. And it's just, ugh.
Yeah. And so we don't actually know how this is going to long-term affect, like besides most of our animals probably going extinct.
Yeah.
Like how it is going to change the landscape.
Oh,
because
man.
It will. If you take anything out of, an ecosystem that has a place, like all of the native animals do, something happens.
Sure.
And we're just not quite sure yet what that's going to be.
Yeah, right? I didn't even think about that really because, oh, man. So you guys, do you have is it the Key West deer? No. Are the Key West deer in the Everglades? No, they're just.
We do.
Okay.
Down in the Keys.
Yeah, okay.
Well, they are, but they're in the Keys. Yeah.
So are the pythons are they big enough to eat deer mammals like that big?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. We found a python with a doe and two fawns in her at the same time. I know. I can't imagine how that went down.
Oh, my God.
Like, it would be horrifying. Right? Horrifying.
Wow. This is
blowing
my mind.
They eat everything from, they eat everything from, squirrels, rabbits, raccoons, bobcats, gators, wading birds, deer. I mean, they eat everything except for other snakes, turtles, and fish, and of course humans. But God. Everything else is fair game.
Yet. So walk us through how you hunt one of these. Let's talk about that. You explain that you have a python hunting truck. Talk to us about that a little bit.
I do.
Like, how do you
Sure.
prep?
Well, I've got a platform on it. Yeah, so I've got a platform on my truck. So it gets us up a little bit higher so we can actually see down into the grass to make it easier to see the pythons. And we're up on the deck. We're driving, my partner and fiance, Dave, he's my driver. So we'll go like between 5 and 15 miles an hour, depending on where we are, on the side of the road, looking for these pythons, because what's happening is they want to go from the woods and the swamps into the canals and back. So, and all the canals run parallel to the main roads. So that's when we're catching them, is when they're going across the street. But they spend 85% of their time not moving. So it makes it really tough to find them. So I thought when I moved down here, I thought, oh man, based on, what everyone was saying and how pythons are everywhere, I was like, I'm going to be walking through that swamp and slinging them out left and right. Oh, no, no, that is not how it works at all. It took me 6 weeks to find my first python.
Really?
Of course, I moved in like the absolute worst time, but so no, we are very happy to catch one python a night.
Wow.
Sometimes we catch multiples, but I mean, it's an average collectively as all of the agencies, it takes an average of 12 hours to catch one python.
Wow. What kind of gear are you using? Is it kind of like bow fishing or?
My hands. Nope. I use my
It's
hands.
like noodling.
It's all live captures.
God.
Well, yes, except you don't stick your hand in the python's mouth. Intentionally, anyway.
Wow. So like, just like
so yeah,
jump off your truck.
We
and
are
wrestle
the
it
this is Yep.
Oh my God.
Yep. When somebody sees a python, I know we yell python and jump off the truck and grab it behind the head, wrestle it.
Really?
And then we kind of wear it out. So once we wear it out, it makes it a lot easier to take pictures, obviously, but also it makes it safer to euthanize.
Yeah. So how are you actually locating it? Okay, it's at night. So then you're just using like big spotlights and you're just looking for like glowing eyes, or do they really just stand out in the grass?
No, so their eyes don't shine.
Okay.
But their bodies have a sheen.
Okay.
So they're going to be on the move. Like if they're sleeping, they're going to be curled up somewhere and we'll never see them. So we're getting them when they're on the move. But sometimes I can only see like a couple inches through the grass, depending on, where they are.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, so I'm looking for the sheen. I'm looking for nuances in the, in the brush, things like that.
That's crazy. What's the largest python you've ever personally caught? Tell me about that.
17.3.
Tell me about the encounter. Tell me.
17.3, 110 pounds.
This is fascinating.
Well, I mean, I did catch her by myself.
Really?
And oh yeah, it was crazy. So let me first start by saying that when I first started, so I got hired by the state when I moved down here. And so up to this point, when I caught the 17-footer, I had only caught maybe like 12-footer was my biggest, right? So, but I was on the road before the 17-footer and I saw this huge python and I, by myself, and I tried to get her, but and I usually grab a python with one hand, around the neck, and then I get the kind of the tail area. I needed two hands. I couldn't fit one hand around this python's neck. It was so big. Cow. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? And I was like, it's not even going to fit in the bag that I have, right? So I tried to figure it out, but then I was like, there's no way I can do this. So I had to let this python go, and I hated that. So I got home and I was like, listen, I know this is going to happen again. So how am I going to prevent it from getting away? And back in the day when I was in the vet and the pet store industry, we would put a dark cloth over a python's head in order to, or I'm sorry, just any animal, right? So I was like, as I'm trying to, I have one hand around this thing and I'm like, there's nothing I can do. There's I can't even fit it in the bag that I have, right? So what am I supposed to do with this thing? So I had to let it go, and I hated that.
No.
But I knew I was going to be hunting alone again, and I knew that I was going to find another big one. So I got home, and I'm like, okay, how do I prevent this from happening again? So back in the vet and pet store business, whenever there was an animal that we wanted to calm down, we would put a black cloth, or over its eyes to calm it down. And I thought, I wonder if I could do that with a python. So I just randomly had this 6 by 6 inch drawstring bag hanging on my closet. And I was like, let's see if this is going to work. So I tried it on like some 12 and 13 foot pythons. Like I put it over their head and it totally shut them down.
Oh.
And I was like, sweet. So, I'm, carrying this thing with me everywhere I go. So anyway, I kind of told a little bit of the story earlier. So it's like midnight. I'm driving down the road in my truck by myself. I see this python periscoping. So she's sticking her head up out of the grass a little bit. I can't tell how big she is, but, so I pull over, I jump out of the truck, I grab my GoPro, I grab my little head bag, and I get out, and she has gone down in the meantime. So she's 17 feet. I know where she is, and I still couldn't find her right away, right? Which was insane to me. So I finally spotted a little bit of her pattern through the grass, and I followed it up just a couple feet to her head, and I'm like, oh my God, it was the biggest head I'd ever seen. And I'm standing there with this like little tiny drawstring bag, right, and there's this giant python. I'm like, well, let's do it. So I jumped on her, and thankfully she wasn't trying to wrap me. So her whole body was buried. I had no idea how big she was. And so she was just trying to shimmy back into the swamp. So I'm on top of her, right? Like kind of straddling her. I've got my arms locked out, trying to keep her, because she's trying to shimmy back and I'm trying to keep her up, like literally using all of my leg strength to keep her from going back into the swamp.
Oh my God.
So it was like this battle of strength.
Oh my God.
And not necessarily a wrestling match, right? So I'm trying to get this stupid head bag on her. And, I'm like, it seemed like it took 2 hours, but it was really like probably 10 minutes.
Right.
And so I finally get this thing on her and she just stopped. She just like relaxed. So I'm sitting on top of her. I mean, I'm sweating to death. I'm like, holy crap, this is insane. And I'm getting ready to, because I've got to pull her out now. She was 110 pounds. Yeah. I got to pull her out, drag her up to my truck and somehow get this figured out. So I'm kind of sitting there catching my breath. And then some other hunters like drove by. So I yelled out to them. I was like, hey,
Can you give me a hand
so
here?
they back their truck up and they're like, what are you doing? Like, I'm sitting on a python. And they're like, why? And I was like, you'll see.
Oh my God.
So then they came down and they're like, holy crap, that's so big. So
oh my God.
then thankfully, so they were able to help me pull her out so I didn't have to do it by myself and get her in my truck. But yeah,
that's nuts.
That was a big snake.
That's nuts. That's insane. This just is so fascinating, this is just so fascinating to me. I mean, I have python boots in the, closet. That's like the closest I've ever come to pythons. Like, is that, it's just so bananas to me. I just keep saying that. They're going to be like, I wish you'd stop saying that. So
no, I mean, it's true. It's the way that you explain it.
Yeah.
For real.
It's cool. It's really interesting. It's so different. And it is such a shame that they are so invasive and they are causing such destruction. And I know that I'm saying it's so interesting because I'm living in Wisconsin and not, bearing the brunt of some of this destruction. I'm sure people in Florida are like, it's not really that interesting. It really sucks. So, what?
No, it is interesting. It's very interesting. And it's very, most people will never see a python that live in Florida.
Yeah.
Because you either have to be out really late in the summer or it's during the day in the winter, but they're off back in the woods breeding, right? So most people will never see one. And there are some people that are like, wait, why do you hunt pythons that live here?
Right.
I mean, it's getting, that was more so in the beginning. People are now really starting to become aware of it. But it is, I mean, the people also ask a lot why we grab them like live, right? Instead of just like shooting them. Well, and there are a couple of reasons for that. The first one is most of the pythons that we catch are on a main road. So you can't discharge a firearm off of a main road. But the second thing is reptiles are very different than mammals, right? So when we euthanize a python, we have to get it in the brain. Like I've got a captive bolt gun that I use. It will still move, even though it's dead, it will still move for like 4 hours. So if you shoot a python, like from your truck or something, right? and you miss and you like nick it or something, it's going to take off and it's going to be fine. If you shoot it, I mean, we've had pythons that this one had its back broken from a gator and you could see the gator bites. It was fine. I mean, I found one with a 22 in its head because it wasn't in the brain. The python was fine. So even if you blow the head off, it's still going to take off. So as a contractor for the state, when I was doing that, we had to have a carcass in order to get paid. So we need to catch the python. Now, like if you want the skin, you need the carcass, so it's easier. And most of the pythons, I mean, they really aren't all giant. They're mostly like 6 to 9 feet is the average that, collectively that we catch. So those are very manageable. Yeah. And I mean, it's still a big snake. Don't get me wrong. It's still a fight, but it's way more manageable than a 17 footer. So that's why we do it. And then it makes it safer for us, safer, more humane for the python. So we're not, missing it or whatever. We're getting one shot. It's done. It's over.
Neat. So then do you document, is there any kind of, are you taking statistics or measurements or anything like that for the state or anything, or as far as conservation efforts or anything like that?
I do. Yeah. I document everything, like all of my catches.
Yeah. I figured.
I mean, and I do upload some of them to the state. Well, actually most of them, I guess. But I'm also working with like 4 different biologists and from different like universities and things for their different studies. I'll help them collect, give them carcasses from this one for this study. I had to give heads to them for another study, just so I really like that part, being part of the research instead of just, like catching the pythons.
Yeah. Interesting. Have you ever had like a super hair-raising moment out there, either with you or with a client, where you were like, oh my God, please God, don't ever let that happen again? Or no?
Oh no, like
really. It's pretty easy.
Well, actually the only thing, it doesn't have to do with the python though, but so in the winter we have to go jungle busting like through all this stuff, but we go on the Miami Canal and it's like lined with spoil islands from, when they dug the dirt. So it's like these islands are like 25 by 50 yards ish. So we'll take the boat and go from one island, grid it out, jump back in the boat, go to the next island. Right. So I'm with my friend and I've got this like 12-foot John boat. We're on the island. I look over, my boat is floating down the canal. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh no.
She tied it up.
Oh no.
To a dead branch. Yeah. And let me just tell you, there are so many alligators in that canal.
Oh,
like,
no.
It is not even funny. And so I'm like, oh. So I guess I'm going for a swim. So I take my boots off. I take my jacket and my backpack off. And I'm like, here we go.
Oh my God.
And it was a very nerve-wracking swim.
Right?
For sure.
Holy cow.
I survived. All is good.
No chomps.
But that is one thing that I hope I never have to do again. Ever.
You're like, lesson learned, do it myself. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh my God. Well, I'm glad you didn't get eaten, because then I wouldn't have heard about this cool story.
Thank you. So, me too.
Wow.
Yeah, it's something.
Is there a season? Like, do you have to have a python hunting license or tag to come down and hunt them with you guys?
No, because they're invasive.
Yeah. Like coyote hunting, where you just
because they're invasive, you can get them.
Interesting.
Yeah, and the only thing is you can't transport them live.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
please don't bring them to
us. You have to kill them on the spot.
I don't know if they would ever survive up by us up here, like Indiana, Michigan.
They wouldn't. They can't survive past the freeze line.
Yeah.
So, but still, they want to prevent like black market stuff and all that.
Yeah, which makes Florida so perfect for them, with it being so hot all year round. Perfect. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a perfect
petri
climate.
dish
it's
for
just
them.
like their climate. Oh yeah.
Wow.
And I mean they were beyond our control before we even knew they were a problem.
Yeah.
Like that's just how how bad it is. And you'd never think in 3.5 million acres, they could eat everything, but
they're doing their darndest to try.
It's getting bad. And I think I'll also add, a lot of people ask me, if they say, if you love Python or if you love snakes so much, why do you want to kill the pythons? And the answer is I 100% do not want to kill the pythons. If there was any other way, I would absolutely do that. But unfortunately, this is the only way. But most of the people out there, most of the hunters are like me in that we love snakes and reptiles. And what makes us good at our job is that we have, we know what we're doing. We are not afraid of, the snakes. We know a lot about them. We always want to learn about them. And we have a tremendous respect for them, right? So we have a tremendous respect for the python, but also the ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
So we know the pythons have to go. So we're doing it, in the most humane, respectful way possible. And I think that's really important.
For sure. Conservationists always make the best hunters because we're not just a bunch of idiots running around with, AKs shooting everything up. We want to do it humanely, safely. You know what I mean? Seriously. We want to do it the right way.
Exactly.
And
yes.
do it because it needs to be managed, not just because it's fun to do. So, yeah, I agree. I get what you're saying. It's just like any other huntable species. So if they want to, if somebody listening or watching this on YouTube or wherever want to get a hold of you and book a hunt with you, where would they go?
Yes, to my website at pythonhuntress.com.
All right.
And all the info is there. They can get a hold of me and book a hunt. If you want to follow my adventures, I would say Instagram's probably the best way. I'm the Python Huntress on Instagram. I post almost all of my videos are on my Reels tab. And I took kind of a little hiatus from posting. I literally am getting ready to post another one tomorrow, but awesome. Yeah, it got a little, I took a break and now I'm back to it. So
awesome. It can be a lot. It can be
more
a grind,
videos to come,
right? I bet you,
it can be if I could just go out and catch pythons, right. That would be awesome. And if social media went away forever, I would be very happy. Right. I would be just awesome.
I feel like everybody says that. We're all yeah, I'd be okay with that.
God.
I know.
Yeah, it's a full-time job just doing all that.
If we could all just afford social media managers, we'd all be so happy,
Oh, yeah. It'd be great.
But then I would never get to watch your reels and be like, oh my God.
I know, right?
Mama needs a new pair of boots.
I know. It's a double-edged sword.
Right, yeah.
It's a double-edged sword and I like putting my adventures out there.
Yeah.
People like to see them. And I get so many people that they're like, oh, I saw your catch the other day. And, it's cool. People, it is interesting. And I do like to put, educational pieces in it too, not just the catches, but,
for sure,
different, quick videos on the snakes and the hunting. So
yeah, it's interesting. Well, cool. Well, Amy, I can't thank you enough for agreeing to come onto the podcast and talk about your cool adventures and what an interesting story to share. So I will, of course.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I will, of course, link to everything in the show notes here at HuntFishTravel.com. I'm not sure what episode this will be, but I will definitely link to it in the show notes so you can find the website, Instagram, all her socials and everything. And again, I can't thank you enough for coming on.
Thanks for having me.